Good now.
All right, welcome back to M&A&D&D episode 113,
Poll and win.
Worlds Collide. Um, last we left, it had ended. The seemingly years-long attempt to thwart the rise of Tiamat was completed when you battled her back into the Nine Hells, sent her plummeting. Um, Unfortunately, with the assistance of a beloved friend, Artie the Metallic Dragon, who um, did what I think any member of M&A would have done and sacrificed himself in order to assure that Tiamat did not um, come to fruition, rise from the depths, and take over the Sword Coast. Um, Bewildered and bloodied, you all made your way back to the Sword Coast. Um, Along with the whole armada. Those left behind are cleaning up the mess from the battles as you guys continue to recover and put away the cultists. Nail that final nail in the coffin. Uh, in the in the city again. Um, you all relax, take a minute, take a breather, and sure enough, calamity strikes as your attention is drawn to the top of the tallest tower. Um, King Maldrock addresses the entirety of his peoples that are within earshot, announces to them that Tiamat is defeated, and his speech is interrupted as he is um, seemingly murdered in front of everybody. His tongue cut from his open mouth by his own son, who uses it immediately to conclude some sort of ritual that had possibly been going on in the background. Shoving his father from the highest peak, he disappears from sight and ushers in this raging storm in the sky that quickly blackens, followed by this shattering sounds. Even parts of the Sword Coast itself seem to kind of rip asunder, and all of a sudden these giant earthquakes crack along. And in the sky, you start seeing fractures like a giant mirror had fallen to the ground, and you start to see these images of worlds and dimensions as they start to pour into the sky. The As you try to kind of like gain consciousness of what's happening, just the sheer magnitude starts to fold your mind's inside of itself, and uh and that's where we're gonna pick up 8 days later.
8 days later.
the the convergence, as the Sword Coast begins to call it, has disrupted all walks of life. There are those who have practical matters and means that who insist that despite the chaos that is happening, that order must be restored, as they know that there are people all along the Sword Coast who need to be fed, clothed, and sheltered, who need to have a chance to recover from the battle before they tackle this. And so, parts of the leadership of the Sword Coast of putting their means into tackling this one problem, while the others gaze up into the sky, into this fractured um, world that they now look at. One thing that you've all grown, that you have not grown accustomed to, that still fucks with your mind in these ways, is when you try to behold what is happening. When you look up and gaze into the sky, it causes actual physical pain. You guys get queasy. Your minds start to, you get these increasingly huge headaches as this becomes almost like a physical ailment the more you try to look up and gaze at it and figure out what it is that you're looking at. So you've kind of grown accustomed to talking about it with your heads down as opposed to trying to look up. You take glimpses, you briefly look up and see how much of it you can handle and what you can gather and wane from these brief instances before the physical pain is too much for you. Um, the the leadership, the council, um, has kind of given you, a little bit of leeway. They said, please come back to us. Don't go far. Stay within reach. We're all of our great minds are together, as they try to tackle what it is that's happening. And so, um, on the eighth day, you guys are starting to come back into the city. And so each of you are going to have an opportunity to kind of talk about what it is that you did within those 8 days. Darfarius, I'll give you time to think of something and go last. Um, but whoever would like to go first,
I'll go first.
surely. All right.
Limited time only.
Gotta kill him.
Limited spots. No place to be, better than the city of song, the city of love, city of dreams, Mythdraenor. All I heard is there's none of this shit there. Come on. There's a lovely lakeside cavern, or cottage, and a cavern. Whatever is your fancy. We're looking for people to come, stay restful and off the beaten path. It's gonna be great. There's also work to be done. If you are a monster slayer, a town guard that needs to get the fuck out of town, where you need to go, Mythdraenor, let me know. Right here. Come and get your Mythdraenor tickets right now. Get 5 stays and you get 1 free. Mythdraenor, city of dreams. That's it. That's all my bit.
That's all your bit. All right.
All right, we're done. No more.
And where are you standing out, like just outside of
I'm just
the
pushing
castle
flyers.
walls? All right.
There's like some like handwritten notes that you rip off at the bottom and whatever, and it like on it there's like a like handmade map that kind of just goes from like you are here, you want to go the fuck this way east and then up a little bit, and then it sort of points like you'll be a Mythdraenor here. Like follow the signs, and then you know it's about as far as I thought about this joke.
Gotcha. All right. Anybody else who wants to hop in next?
Sure, I'll
I
go.
can.
Oh, go ahead, Em. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Astrid spent most of her time at Zargus's shop, kind of basically cleaning up, cleaning out, finding all the different like random places that he hid shit, and then also looking to make sure there aren't any more spying devices, and just kind of like getting everything in order.
All right.
But yeah,
And then okay. Valen.
So after witnessing what appears to be the execution from the Laking Sun, there's a lot of things going on that Valen took times to evaluate it. And then he decided he would like to go talk to Astrid. for something that he's been considering for a while, after ever since the defeat of the dragon cultist. So, given the situation right now, um, it is Valen's belief that it is impeccable and is very important for us not to severing the connection and the temporary alliance that we were able to achieve with the Red Wizard of Thay, because it seems like something more terrifying is down the road, more terrifying than the threat of the dragon cultist.
During this brief hiatus, you pull together the heads of the trades, those who run the ports, who run the shipping routes, who run a lot of the caravans that move goods. You now, of course, reached out to Astrid, who has found herself the purveyor of magical weaponry and armors. And you bring in a very familiar face from Fenelon, who is the utmost purveyor of magical materials. As you present your case um, to this group of individuals who seem to move the wheels of commerce along the
Yes,
Sword Coast.
correct. Given that before King's unexpected demise, I was bestowed the privileges and the responsibility for the trading guilds, for basically managing and kind of just running the trading guilds for the Waterdeep, and the source coast for that matter. That it has come to my conclusion that whatever relationship that we want to have with Thay and its residents, whatever we had before the threat of the dragon cultists, was not going to work for what's about to come. So this is why I have called and assembled all the heads on the harbors, the armories, and also all the magical items across the region to figure out how, as Sorco's entirety, we can continue our relationship with the world of Thay and its residents.
During this meeting, you've met with quite a bit of conflict as the Red Wizards of Thay are very
Fucking worst. Sorry.
yeah. I believe that is muttered
Racist?
several times, and as you try and bring um, everybody to the table, there's immediate conflict with this idea of continuing a relationship with the Red Wizards of Thay.
I understand the idea is very radical, um, given the history of the dark magics and their unwavering faith in practicing so-called the arts. I understand that for the people across the Sword Coast, a majority of them would not trust anybody coming from the world of Thay. But at this point, I don't think we can afford to lose any potential alliance. However, that alliance might be, I guess, unorthodox, as it may be, because we were able to temporarily make it work, given the threat and the situation that we're facing, and we're literally looking at it right now. I hope you all to understand that seeking any kind of opportunity to work with each other. We don't have to see eye to eyes, but some sort of compromise in order to establish some sort of official channels of relationship with the world of they would be my would be ideal, because whatever this is, I'm guaranteeing you that the more magical knowledge, the more magical items that we can amass will help us to be better equipped and will help the people across the Sword Coast to better defend themselves and better prepared. As most of my colleagues and I have traveled across the Sword Coast during our adventures trying to fight off the Dragon Cultist threat, we've all seen it, how helpless and defenseless the common people could be. I mean, there's only so far reach that Water Steeps and Boulder Skates, influence can go. What about the people in the far north, in the snowlands, right? So what I'm proposing here is not us giving out freely whatever we have to the world of Fae and its people, but we can come up with a plan to have a mutual benefits for trading with each other or having the open communication channel. And that is my plan.
As you do your best to convince the trade guilds to not necessarily fall in line, but to be open minded about it. You do help put together a very convincing network that one restores the prairies of the Sword Coast, the small villages that have been kind of first ripped apart by the cultists. You kind of reinvigorate the outer lands that had been most affected by coordinating a lot of the different trades to send resources to reassure that those in the bigger cities have enough resources there, but what they can allocate to the outer lands so that they can be so that you guys can one start to kind of feed up the farmlands and stuff so that you guys can produce what's needed and get the products that you need to. So within the first couple days, you successfully kind of navigate one of the issues, but you're met with a bigger one, with this idea that you need to reach out to the Thayans, and that is that it is a hard sell to align yourselves with a society that um, builds this off of slaves
And art.
and necromancy,
And art.
Mm-hmm.
artists as they may be. And so you have one more attempt at diplomacy, which is, or did you want me to address that, sir?
Oh, we Do we have to do we do it right now, or we can do it in a later session, right?
Okay.
The discussion was the thing.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
So Valen is posed with this question: How do we deal with continuing these? How do we build a trade with a society in which those two things that they dabble in? And then we will go to whoever wants to go next within your 8 days.
So in 8 days, I have managed to become part owner of the Great Drunkard. Learn the art of brewing, and on my spare time, I go to the market and I sell the goods. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm drunk as shit all the time. You know, constantly tasting, perfecting the craft, and they try to claim I got, baby Darfarius is running around. It ain't me. It ain't mine.
As
Not
you
me.
walk through the streets of the wards here, there are hoots and hollers as Darfarius the Dragonborn, who helped defeat Tiamat, allegedly clubbing
Comes with the
Tiamat
fame.
in the head, shrinking all heads, all of her 28 heads that she did have, bouncing her straight into the nine hells. You are constantly berated by fans and small children as you grab flask after flask after straight out of people's hands. You taste it, spit it out. That's a good one.
Mhm.
You just
Wait, he
hop on to the
spits it
next
out?
person.
I just
Really?
want everybody to know, Tiamat had many heads, one booty hole, and I owned it.
And everybody, as you walk by, you strut by. Everybody says, "There's the man. There's the Dragonborn who owned Tiamat's booty hole." As you're even followed by just prancing little children and stuff, and they're like, "Ah, very." The
That's where I've been.
the southern ward seems to be your new stomping grounds. As people are flocking, those who seem less concerned with the calamity above, those who wish to escape away from this impending doom, kind of head into the southern ward to kind of revel in your presence. Um, and the 8 days that commence are just this whirlwind of drinking, boozing, and not having illegitimate dragonborn children.
That's right. Make that clear. Thank you.
They don't know you. Uh, there's. I'm trying to think of what an
Some business to
Instagram
drink.
model would be for this time and age. There, people are just etching photos, etching pictures
They're all
of
just
you
trying
with
to do as many clay statues as possible of him. And
cat men and women alike. All
can I
right,
take a minor image of him, please?
and Vamel.
Fortunately, a little bit more serious than that one. The main
As
thing
That's a
many
that
follow, I know.
illegitimate children as you want.
I think he took an oath about that. Unfortunately, the first thing he does is after he sleeps and can redo his spells, he starts using lore book and other things to see if there's any more cultists, and goes on a final purge with the metallic dragons and the Kingsguard to flush the rest of the cultist out.
I would like to join.
I have
Please
no
and
issue
thank
with
you.
that.
Can you explain how you do that from a spell perspective?
Sure. So you can ask questions where certain things to get information from your god. So, since I only need to cast it once a day, there you go. That's how I actually got some of our questions answered the first time.
I just
All I
wanted
can
to
do
read.
is
Just wanted a reminder, like everyone. And I wasn't.
divination.
Cool.
Yeah, divination is useful for that kind of thing.
Nice.
So with Astrid, apparently, we go purging through the city. It's a bit of collateral damage because one could expect
We love
that.
a good crusade.
It is a crusade in every single sense of the word. On the positive side, some of them seem to want to repent. With Zone of Truth and some other things, as one cannot build a temple without followers. He starts seeing those who have seen the error of their ways, gives them sanctuary to begin working on the to be built temple to Bahamut. Unfortunately, due to the skies and the fact that they cannot look up, the Vemels informed the metallic dragons must depart for the moment. While they're back in the world, he understands that even his deities cannot simply remain around. And as the last of the conclave gather together, the first priest of Bahamut, or currently the only priest of Bahamut, gives a brief prayer and a sending off to the dragons to bless them. While her physical manifestation has not succeeded, the greed which caused men's hearts to grow tepid and sour and mired in desires still exists. Her essence will still taint the world if we are not vigilant. We trust in your wisdom. We trust in your strength. And we trust that you will be here when our time comes. None shall hunt you as long as I am here, as long as I am around. Though his word, the sage's word, will be spread. And in such, the stories of those who bear metallic scales will be spread correctly. We will, to the best of our ability, we shall enlighten men's hearts, so fear does not guide their sword arm. In such a way, perhaps this plane will one day be rid of her influence. In his name do we walk, and in his name do we seek knowledge. By his grace, we move forward. And he will, bow his head, kind of wave goodbye. And there will be a small shrine in the temple there, dedicated to a very specific dragon who gave his life to ensure everyone else was safe. And the first part of the Book of Bahamut that he's writing will be dedicated to friendship and the power therein. And that's how Vemel spends his 8 days. I did not mean to kill the mood, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, that was extremely philosophical. And I'm in a mood now. So thank you. I'm gonna have some illegitimate children.
We need more scales in the world.
Darfarius, are you interested in a small lakeside cottage in Mythdraenor?
Can we put him in the hammer? Can we put him in the hammer?
You had me at interested.
Let's talk.
We're gonna have to get more charisma on Vanilla at this rate.
Oh, by the way, I own my own hammer now. Pop in and out whenever I feel like it. I no longer am on the back of
Usually me. I'm usually carrying her ass.
Oh, is it you? I thought it was Did I become too heavy for
Yeah, it was Terry, but then he took off the gauntlets, so he wasn't strong enough to carry it.
He toppled
okay.
over immediately after.
Right. Oh, you know what? Dom, I'm gonna give you back the hammer. You can hold it.
I got 20 strength. I got this. It's fine.
As you
I
hold the
did
cursed
add
object.
another 20 over here, you know.
Like the spell curse. All right, we're good.
Shit, I was muted. All right, Val. Joe.
Do I say what I've actually been doing?
No, David.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Lie to us like a rogue.
No.
no.
I
What
haven't
we
lied this
we
whole
were
time.
talking about today during in all the chats was
Okay.
essentially this is what we're talking about what we did in our 8 days.
All right. So Val left the group a little bit earlier.
Just a little.
And
Immediately following.
he would have spent the time to not be followed is the point of this. But Val had to go kind of
Hold on, let me pause it here.
oh,
So what we're doing is exposition for the story. He's not telling your characters what's happening. So your characters are not necessarily going to know what he was doing, but as far as story goes, everybody is telling their own little tale. So feel free to just unload because doesn't reflect. They're not going to know.
okay.
So yeah.
So with that actually makes this a lot easier. So Val had to go spend time learning how to grieve again. He had spent so long not being able to really understand or express his own emotions, and the only emotion he had, it's still there, but the main one is his anger that he had towards being captive for so long and losing, years of his life, losing friends, memories, and being turned into something that he did not want to be. And it was Artie who was the first one to give Val back part of what he had lost, and that was some of the memories that they had shared together. That was something that Val had lost. So losing Artie took a huge toll on Val, and he didn't really know how to really cope with that. And so he did what felt right, which was to go and try and figure it out for himself. But he needed a place of comfort. He never really strayed too far. And he never intended to abandon everyone, but he knew that he needed to figure things out. So he ended up back at the with the herd of the metallic dragons for a while, and he spent time there secluded but among them to try and process what had happened. But beyond just processing, he spent time thinking of where to go next and how to get Artie back. Because more than anyone else, he knew what Artie has been capable of in the past. So he held out hope, and now he just knows that he needs to go find him. And so one of the ideas that Val came up with was how to get to hell, and that led him back to the portals. And so he set out without anyone else in the middle of these 8 days and ended up returning to the grove. And then, Viva, do you want me to say what you told me in terms of the description?
Yep.
So Val returned to the grove and found a crater where everything was, and has spent past few days the grove of the portals, the hub of portals. He found a crater where it was, and has spent the past few days digging through rubble and trying to reconstruct the portal of hell. And so that's what Val's been up to.
Why?
Wow.
I have two questions. I missed. How did you get there quickly?
Val can fly.
Fly doesn't.
Also-
it took us
also
a
there
week
wa-
on a
there
sky
was-
ship to get there.
So
No, also a long time ago, the sigil, the teleportation sigil
Uh-huh.
that's in the basement of the castle
Uh-huh.
had been built outside of the
Okay, that works. I was just curious,
yeah.
like if there was another.
well, been built out of the portal grove, because at one point that became a focal point for the Sword Coast to identify and so you guys had used it once before.
I ask only because, in addition to the memeing, the other thing I did do was I did go to the Arcane Brotherhood and checked in with them, and what we worked on a bit was them giving me the updates on the portal system that they started and that started to collapse because of the beacon that we tried to install, or they tried to install on my behalf, in the Luxon portal for Val when he went missing. So they were explaining that the portal system that was set up was collapsing essentially from that. So that's why, I don't mind sharing this with the group that are here from what I know, but just like, so we could fill in Val when we meet him, kind of a thing. But to kind of go off of what David just said, that was interesting because it would be independent, or it would be related to what you just said in that regard. But I didn't know how you got there if everything else had broken. So
I was essentially like, holy shit, there's a plot point, and I dicked around. And I did around earlier, but I have something important to show.
I did have something. I did do actual work.
So
but
essentially,
I really enjoyed my joke, and I wanted to get the most
you're
out
like,
of it.
oh fuck, I actually have something to share. And so you all you all start to kind of converge again on the city. One, Val, you become to get pressured and overrun by just this kind of like continued aggression by the beasts and the creatures around you as you worked for, I believe you arrived around day 5 there, and started working at it. As the days progressed, it seems as though the aggression from the creatures and beasts around you became more and more prominent, and to the point where you're like, well, I have this goal, this one thing that's driving me right now, but you became a little bit concerned that maybe just it might become too much for you to bear alone, and you headed back in. And as everybody kind of commences back into the wards, you're beckoned again by that bell that rings across atop the towers, and you're brought into the great hall. And immediately Ramilla kind of greets you all, and she says, there is a lot that needs to be discussed. I invite you back to your room. Give you an opportunity to catch your breath before you see what's next. And she leads you up that winding tower, back into that shared common space that you guys had been so familiar with, although most of you had not been staying there for a while. We have a welcoming party. They seem to know a little bit more about what is to come. As you know, King Maldrock is not seeing any guests as he recovers. The members of the Sword Coast have pulled themselves together and kind of bows her head ever so briefly to Valen as they put together the means in order to stabilize the chaos that is here. We have been asked to send a delegation to meet with others that have been affected. I, of course, have suggested that you all go as a representative of the Harpers. The other enclaves are sending their own delegates. If you guys are up for the task, seems as though the request of the Sword Coast is not yet fulfilled. We have yet more need for M&A. If you're willing to step up to the plate and meet this challenge, sure that you will be rewarded in this life or the next. But
Where are
I
we going?
offer the opportunity. You'll see here soon.
I like the
promise.
sound of that already.
Tanner.
I'm in.
I have unfinished business with the king's supposed son. So I'm in.
All right. Those of you who are willing to continue, we'll meet back downstairs in the Great Hall in an hour. As she leaves the room, this is the first opportunity most of you had to have talked to each other in the last 8 days.
I have a quick question.
So-
Did Astrid stay with Vomel after the purges? Like, are they just kind of like doing holy stuff together, or did we split up at some point?
I probably would have split my time between that and the shop.
Yeah, she's been doing shopkeeping. She's been kicking ass. Like, she's been
Looking ass.
It's like clean everything until you get too emotionally overwhelmed and you have to smash someone's skull in. You know?
Just planning in my head.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think the silence in
Sound
the
of that.
room speaks for itself as you all not necessarily looking at each other.
Mhm.
Liam stands up.
So we're all peacing out, right? Going our separate ways. Fuck off. Okay, cool.
Before we get down to the main hall, I have something that I want to share with you guys.
Holy shit.
Astrid probably already caught words off the things I've been doing for the last couple of days. But
You found a girl. Finally.
in your dream.
Not my dream.
Girl of your
In
dreams?
your dream. Amazing.
Ever since I joined this caravan, all you guys been thinking about is matchmaking me with somebody else. I do
You
not
just have this
understand.
charisma, this
You have
sexual tension between
it's-
all the group where
If
they
I-
have to project it onto somebody else.
It's look, the problem here is all we've ever heard since we've met up is you have this charisma, but you also are just burdened with how old you've always told us you are, and we're just afraid at any point you won't have a chance to meet the right woman for you, or dude, whatever you want to do. But
I've
Come
heard.
out honestly.
So, I mean, personally, I've heard for regular human, There were records of people go as far as 40 years without having any experience having their needs taken care of. So
That can't be good for your health.
You're setting a new record. I understand. So
please, let's focus on what's actually been happening. So, this might, I know probably for some of you, Astrid, please don't take my head off. I've been working with a lot of business and also supply organizations, leaders across the water steeps, trying to figure out a way that we can organize a proposal to continue.
I heard proposal. Are you engaged to get married now?
To continue our previous alliance with the representative from the world of Fae. Because whatever we're facing right now, knowing like just sensing that what's potentially going to be worse than the threat of the cultists that we faced before, I believe we need everything and anyone that can give their help to us. So I know how most of the folks in the Sword Coast feel about the people from the Fae, but the past discourse and disagreements will not help us to solve the problem ahead. So I would say this is why I've been spending the last couple of days of trying to figure out a way and finding what would be a mutual beneficial proposal between our world and them, so
What's
that
that word again?
So that's what I've been doing, and I don't want you guys to get caught unprepared, because this topic might be brought up in the next couple of days. Should we, accept this new mission coming from the council?
Well, I can see Vommel over there, and he's about to say something. So I would just like to say it was good knowing you. It really sucks that you didn't get a chance to find someone before you get smashed in the head right now. But I was really rooting for you there, buddy. But all right, Vommel, have him have it.
And
I was serious up until that. That was great.
As you start laying down like clear plastic, so the blood doesn't spray on.
Which
on
of my leather tunics do you like the most at your funeral?
Valmu, I'm really sorry. I know how you feel about this.
No,
How
I
you will
don't
feel
think you
about
do.
But
I think you're going to find out, Lowlander. But no, you don't, or you would not have spoken.
Astra, did you hear Ramil call us downstairs? I think we should go. Bye.
No, I think
As she is actively standing like in the doorway.
I'm walking. I just want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to get blood all over everything.
So most of the party leaves. Darfarius stands, like, just sits there in a chair, just like, yeah, this is gonna
Yeah, I
be good.
wanna
Everybody
see
else,
this.
like
am I correct to say that everybody else heads downstairs?
Yeah.
We'll catch up with the conversations that happened.
Or is Val gonna catch up with us later?
No,
That's up to
Bel's
Viva.
with you guys, but
Okay.
Okay.
it sounds like you guys they're walking downstairs. We'll catch up with that conversation later. Well, Vamel in now almost the empty, except for Darfarius, who's just like, yeah, this is where the action's at.
I'm gonna stay in the hallway outside, just so when I hear screaming, I can go back in and then make sure that people don't actually die.
Counting on it.
Resurrect him, it's fine. That's why I'm
And
the
then
cleric.
kill him again. We all know
He'll be
what that
resurrected
really
without the
is.
bow, I'll tell you that.
Truly, that's the benefit of being a cleric. You can murder someone and then just
fair,
go.
though,
Multiple times.
Unfortunately, what that does make you is it makes you just as bad as the Red Wizards. I'm just gonna point it out. And then I leave.
All right, I
The
hit
difference
Rogue
between
instead.
being a cleric and a
Cleric-
necromancer is so thin.
Clerics have necromancy spells.
Yeah.
There's no
We
way
do,
around it.
actually.
There is no way around it. All of your healing.
Valen, keep that in mind as this conversation is about to commence. All right.
We're still teaching him 6 years later how D&D works.
You guys have no idea of how much pressures that Valen's been taking on at this moment. Not only for his life, but you know for sure they're going to be political power that are not happy about this.
All right, let's hear it, Vamal.
I will use small words to ensure that you understand exactly how I feel regarding the necromantic abuse of life. My entire being is against those creatures who are against the natural order of things. They step off this mortal coil to gain power like leeches who devour the magic of this world, which is the essence of those I serve, so their lives can be extended. You are asking me to look the other way of those who drain my gods of their power. This is how I feel about them. The moment we have time to not save this important plane, they are my next crusade, and I will bring Tyr himself next to me with the guidance of Bahamut to end their tyranny. Politic away, little mannequin. True work requires faith and strength. And he will walk out.
I don't even get to say the final word. God damn, man, this guy.
Nope. And
Oh, you can! You can totally talk to his back. That is perfectly fine.
you're going to gain an inspiration. Put that little inspiration in your pocket for your performance, sir. As now, Darfaris, you find yourself in a room with just Valen.
Dude,
And his booty hole.
I know, man. I was about to say, dude, your booty hole must be hurting right now. That's worse than my bite.
Believe it or not, I mean, this is not going to be the worst things that are gonna come after me or us. Should our plans, should our plans be known by the council? So just be prepared.
Stay ready.
All right.
So I gotta get
Yeah,
ready.
let's get down. Let's just get down.
Darfaris grows bored with the room, now empty of all drama, and stands up. And
This bores me.
as you all head down, Astrid found herself outside of the spiral staircase moments before Vamal comes storming out, which she heard, of course. And I imagine quickly kind of like pretends like she wasn't standing there ready to charge in and protect everybody as you guys kind of just
Yes.
usher your way back down the stairs.
I wasn't going to kill him. He'll just say as they walk forward.
Boo.
The hall is filled more so than you have ever seen. And you guys are having to kind of like push your way through crowds of people to get to the table. That almost this hallway had always kind of echoed, in each footstep of kind of like rung, as this table always sat with people at each parts of it who were rolling out maps and talking in the past, and you can kind of hear like the echoes of these hushed tones and stuff. But now the entirety is filled with delegates and people of importance and not so much. And you push your way through, and you immediately take a step back as there's this giant glowing blue oval, like a glass mirror standing in the middle of like 10 feet off of the table. And in front of it, you see beings in which some of you completely unfamiliar with. Um, you see human types creatures, these dark ebony, with kind of like almost like glass like skin, almost like dragon glass. You see a figure like a human bird, standing there adorned in these leather armor. And then you see this giant broad-shouldered creature. He looks like a stone golem, but made of this jade, etched with these carvings all across his body. And in front of them stands this figure. And he's adorned in this like pure gold and silken gown. And
Yeah.
he's addressed the table. And he says, people of this realm, we are reaching out to you because of the calamity, the convergence, as you call it. All of our worlds are in danger. And it seems as though similarities from yours and ours exist. We invite you and your delegation to come with us now. Please follow us. And he kind of beckons his hand towards this portal. And
Is there an Aarakocra talking to us?
a member of the Ember Enclave stands up. He walks through the portal first.
Is
One
there
of the
any exposed windows or anything, just to make sure?
the windows are super far away.
Okay.
One of the familiar dwarven lords stands up and walks through. There's a procession of those on the council, and Ramilla looks at you and kind of ushers you.
Alba will stand up and just kind of like juggernaut forward. Not like run, but just like plod exemplary.
As you follow suit, didn't see him.
I was gonna say I'm close behind for sure.
Ah!
You make your way through the portal, and it stretches for an infinite amount of time as you kind of effortlessly walk
Wow.
towards
Pretty.
this shining citadel in the sky.
It's only a model.
There is this retching feeling in your stomach, and one of the members of this delegation kind of whispers to you, it's only going to get worse. As you start to feel like you're turning sideways, upside down, and start spiraling, even though you continuously walk towards this and this large stone golem kind of just with this belling voice. Welcome to the Radiant Citadel.
I mean, what's the Radiant Citadel?
As you enter the corridor, you immediately see this you feel with like you're inside of a giant prism. As light stretches from every side, and it seems to, like, every step you take, it seems to refract a different color. You're greeted, of course, by this enormous circular pairing of peoples, many of which you have never seen before, as they all kind of look on as you guys center yourself. But that uneasy feeling as you guys try to gain ground in here, you feel like you're literally standing on the ceiling. Many of you need to take a second, and I want everybody to do a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
As you feel like you're just tumbling out of this portal and hitting the ground. Valen, on his hands and knees, immediately throws up, just vomits right there in front of everybody. DW, or I'm sorry, Liam gains footing. He almost slips in it, but the second he sees Valen losing all continence, throws up a little bit.
Who's next? To me?
Well,
No.
it looks as though the rest of the group just like stands there, able to
Barely make it.
Val able to barely kind of hold it down. Darfarius, this is another Tuesday for him.
Yeah, this is nothing. I feel at home here.
Astrid, a planeswalker extraordinaire, kind of stumbles to her feet and stands there stoically as you guys are greeted by the members of the Radiant Citadel. And we'll take a break right there.
Damn it! You do that so
guys-
well.
How much throw up did I get on the members of the Radiant Citadel?
A lot.
No, just mostly on you. It's almost all on you.
I excuse
So
the
before I
hum-
forget-
novel.
Terry, I am not upset about your character. I think you're playing him great.
No, I understand where your character is coming from. I mean, even getting close contact to those guys make you want to fucking murder them. Like, let alone talking about working with them in some fashion. The last time we tried to work with, the last time we established the alliance, like, you almost bit our head off.
To be fair,
and
to
This is
defend,
why I completely
to
understand.
defend Terry, anytime we try to work with anybody, we generally are backstabbed. And we end up having to try to kill them. So, like, again, I can't tell if it's the Red Wizards or just us, but it generally happens.
Well, that's true. So in LARPing, it's called, check-ins. You make sure the other person, when you have an intense scene, is okay. I try to make sure I do that even in tabletops because it can be intense.
No, that's a good thing to do.
And it's not like I'm playing an easygoing character. He has very black and white views on things.
Whatever do you mean?
I'll tell you when you're
I
older.
just can't wait for Valen to be standing by the edge of the Radiant Citadel, and then you just push his ass off. Go,
Oops.
Why are you telling my plans?
I mean, I'll save him, but he just has to become a mega investor in Mythtrainer.
I saw that coming, and it bothers me. But no, Terry, I love how you're doing it, and I think it's very cool. What your character is doing. So I want to give you full marks for like writing that part of the character. It's a bully for you. I think it's still a term. I hope it's still a term. It is now.
So M&A finds himself standing in this crystal cavern citadel, again surrounded by thousands of onlookers, many of which are likes you've never seen before. There seems to be court as in being addressed as someone speaks. This is a creature, seems almost like feline in features, and as you kind of gaze upon them, your mind is seemingly playing tricks on itself as you hear it saying something in a language you don't know, in a murmuring, in a tone, and that is otherworldly to you, but what is being processed through your heads makes sense as they talk about this impending danger to the worlds around you, as you all have been brought here because, like refugees that founded the great citadel itself, your homes are in danger, at risk, and though some of you need protection, most of you need to only point your spear in the direction, to wield your swords, to right this impending, like, to right the nature of what's happening. And they continue to talk when, Val, you feel this hand on your shoulder, and you kind of feel the butterscotch breath on your neck as you hear a very familiar voice that kind of echoed through the hunts of the Fae as the princess kind of addresses you. So glad to see that you're here.
I don't know if I should be surprised or not surprised that you are here as well, Lion.
Step over here with me.
Take a
And
step
she
over.
pulls you aside. Val, there's been chaos in the Fae. I know, and I've heard of the things that were going on in the Sword Coast, but it seems as though there had been, I don't know, some sort of coordination. You're going to hear this story 1,000 times over. Fahis, my brother.
I'm gonna need that spelling.
What? You just start to kind of see the eyes, the tears like well up in her eyes.
Okay.
He seemed to fall. He seemed to fall ill. The same, whatever had come over me. It seems that when that hold was broken by you all, and it was no longer able to manipulate me, it latched onto my brother. I don't know. I was there. Far away from home, and I'm only just retelling what I've been told. But when I came to, and when I began to kind of rebuild the realm that I was given, he fell ill. Grew dark, and something came over him, and he lured our mother. He lured her out into the woods.
Oh no.
All I hear is background and conversation from Emily.
Yeah, well,
And she
I'm just in the
gets
background
choked,
going, oh
gets choked up.
no.
He lured our mother into the woods. We found her. Her stomach slit open,
Oh my god.
her uterus removed.
What the fuck?
Realistic as fuck.
hate it.
Yo!
And at the same time, the sky split open,
Who the
shattered into a million pieces.
Oh shit. Tongue. Yep. That's what I'm thinking. Val doesn't know. I don't know if Val knows about tongue yet.
Tongue, a uterus, brain is probably another
Eh.
one.
Val, will put his hand like on her arm, like on the side, and say, this news of this chaos and what has happened is troubling, and if you believe that things have been coordinated, I will do what I can to try and keep that in
No, it's
mind
just-
with any new information that I get.
Stop talking to me like you're Harper Robot. Understand this. You're gonna hear this story 1,000 times. I'm not the only one.
The thing that had you, it had others.
Did the King of the Sword Coast be betrayed by his son?
That's what I was told. I was not there for it though. But we had already been trying to track down the king's son at one point.
Well, I think for most here that have gathered,
Only one of us has
it's a surprise. It came out of nowhere, and well,
What lineage was she?
you'll get to this soon, but the Feywild's in chaos, not only because what happened to my mother, but seems as though Ektiarn has gone missing, seemingly stolen away. There are rumors that the Wild Hunt are behind the disappearance. Ektiarn being the goddess of or the deity of healing and protection for our kind. The Pegasi and the horse have fled the Fae. And within the last several decades, again, our time, not yours, the beasts of the world have grown chaotic. And the Fae is a much more dangerous place than you've known it before. But it is good to see you all.
Wait, this information wasn't provided to me. So is this still a good idea for us to establish the alliance with State?
Faye, not Thay.
Oh,
Faye. Yeah, Faye.
No,
Got it.
you heard it right. It was stay. You probably shouldn't do it.
I was going to say,
Um,
you're all right with the wizards, but this bothers you? We're really going to have a talk now. And now the hammer comes.
Again, in his defense, they probably would have brought her back.
Viva,
to
can you
life.
give me the
Oh, but
the
come
name
on,
of that
weapons
goddess
be
that you
gutted.
mentioned? And then
That cliff is looking better and better.
Val will say in response to all of this, Lion, I don't mean to add to any woes, but I don't know if you were aware that Artie was lost in our battle against Tiamat, and I think he's been lost in hell. So I'm trying to get back there, and I need to go find him. So if there's anything that I can do for you, or if there's anything that you might be able to help with, just
she immediately wraps her arms around you and hugs you and starts kind of just weeping into your chest. If Artie can be saved, we'll do it. Too late for my mother and my brother, but if Artie can be saved, we'll make that happen. We just have to figure out what's next. Your attention is immediately drawn to the center of the citadel again, as that big stone creature you had traveled through the portal with. And he steps forward, and in that big bellowing voice, we all have come here, many of us refugees from our own land. Our world's in chaos. The convergence rages. We clearly have no means of escape except for the citadel that sits seemingly beyond reach for now. In my home, Mazteca, we have also lost one of our rulers. The convergence set into effect when his son was sacrificed during the bloodline oblation. Heart ripped from his chest by his kin. We are one of many who have dealt this tragedy. Each of our worlds in peril. I request one delegation to come with me to Mazteca and aiding us in freeing Quetzalcoatl from his binds.
Anyone know what he said? We're going to go save Quasimodo.
Not Quasimodo. Quetzalcoatl. Learn your deities.
Damn.
Who here will come with Ashtochli?
Where does he want us to go?
Right, right, right.
I don't know where it is. Where is it?
Darfarius, did you speak up? You're muted.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm in.
Darfarius volunteers.
Look,
Which is perfect because I'm about to smack the rogue. So like,
We're
you just
not-
see this giant fist. Just first moves
Let's not
forward.
all volunteer at once because let's remember he's the only one that's potentially a target right now because he's the only one potentially with children.
I throw the rogue after him.
I totally.
Better yet,
You
I just
just
pick
hear
him
the-
up and
you
start walking.
You hear the grinding of the stones that he's made of, and he greets you and he leads you through another portal that just kind of appears. Well, the murmuring of the crowd, and you just hear their stories as one after another kind of steps forward.
As we start walking, as he's carrying me through, I'm gonna like look at the guy who was talking and be like, I was gonna go, but this guy was really off base and thought you said Quasimodo. I don't understand. I'm sorry. It was really offensive.
I heard it too, though.
Yeah, he said.
It's still Quasimodo, right?
That's
No, isn't that the servant god?
yes. As a feathered
You
serpent god.
sure he doesn't have a hunchback?
Yeah.
Take rogue, put in hammer, keep walking.
As you follow
I'm Rogue?
Atitochli through
No,
the portal,
that one.
he does not hear this
Oh.
conversation. As
But
it
the-
commences, you guys get that same tumbling, and I need Valen and Liam to roll their Constitution saving throw again.
God damn it, man! I got only +1 for Constitution.
Roll that shit.
Damn it!
See, we told you the Constitution was important, but no. Didn't listen to
That's
us.
not even the right one. That's Constitution. He said Constitution safe.
Yeah, but it's the same.
Hey, no, let Darth. Hey, Darth is here, and he's
No, Darth is
down
right.
1,000. Hey,
Technically, he is right.
yeah. Hey,
Why is this Constitution a plus? Oh no, that's Alex. I got.
See, he does have it.
Yay!
There you go. See? You're
I'm
welcome.
not throwing up anymore.
All right.
He's rolling the wrong shit the whole time.
So you stumble out of the portal, and you catch yourself while you trip over Liam, who's on all fours, throwing up.
No. I was being carried. I'm throwing up on Bommel.
He's throwing up.
Wait,
on
not
one.
on the hammer though,
I'm
right?
sorry. This is he actively carried me.
So there you go.
That we threw you in the hammer, if you're going to be specific.
You find yourselves
Yo, you clean it up.
at the top of this stone
Like
structure,
Earth. I didn't even
and
eat
you
Earth.
get this. You stand there, and it feels as if you're standing in a doorway, looking upon a beach, and you feel like this humidity kind of brace your face, and this smell of like cocoa beans wafts through the air, and as you look out for miles, you just see this green canopy stretched as far as you can see, and way off in the distance, miles upon miles away, you see another stone structure reaching towards the sky, and it's wrapped by this feather serpent.
Mm-mm.
That would be Quetzalcoatl.
Atoshli says,
Butthole?
"You are correct. Welcome to Mazteca. Thank you for aiding us."
Like the flower?
And he starts to lead you down the temple, the stone temple, built out of seemingly the same jade stone. Every step you take, there's etched in intricate carvings of animals and creatures. Seems to tell a story. Each one of his giant steps. And it's, even though it's stone upon stone of a 8,000-pound golem. It's drowned out by the sounds of birds and animal life screeching. This world full of vibrant creatures. And as he leads you down the temple.
He will follow. So, Viva, quick question so I can play this right. Is the Quetzalcoatl in this world about the same as the Quetzalcoatl in our world, or are there distinct differences which I can make a religion roll to know? Is it
Do
like
a religion check real quick with.
Okay. Because I know what I know about Quetzalcoatl, which he's one of my favorite deities out there.
Are we in the land of the lion? Or the land of the giants? Excuse me.
Yeah, 11. Not horrible.
Nephilims.
You're taking it all in, and it reminds you of the story you were told, in which the metallic dragons chose to leave the Sword Coast, and Bahamut brought his presence to another plane of existence, to which he was bound. And you think back of the readings that you had known, and you remember the story of Quetzalcoatl. You knew of some extent to this god, but like many gods in the Sword Coast, it was whispers. It was in ancient books that had long ago been forgotten, and only someone so devout to recognizing your God would have ever stumbled across it. And so you have this fire starting to burn inside of your belly because your pursuit of godly knowledge is being sparked. And it is with this fire in your belly, you cannot help but talk about what you know.
Well done, Viva. Well done.
If I could wink, I would do it.
Quetzalcoatl, the feather serpent god, is often known as the deity of beauty, of appearance, swordsmanship, and leadership. It is a god that was one of the most favored amongst the cultures in which he touched those beings. While typically not taking a human form, he would come to his followers, they come to him to seek guidance. Those who were blessed were known to be some of the most honorable duelists, the greatest of chieftains, and the most attractive of the species there. Quetzalcoatl also sometimes was linked to thunder, depending. Actually, yes, he did actually make tortillas. You're not actually wrong.
No.
I think they called them something else at the time, though. Ben can't remember what the original name was. Corn cakes, I think it's maize cakes. Before we called them tortillas.
Pretty sure they're called tortillas before they called maize cakes.
That was maize. No, it was no, because the maize gods, the two children of the corn, the twin gods.
Maize, maybe.
Maize.
Cakes, 100% not happening.
I'm saying I'm white. I'm staying out of it.
This is.
He said children of the corn and I panicked.
You really actually should, because they're fucking crazy gods. They die and come back all the time. It's really weird.
Well, that's a very god
pretty on
thing
par
to
for
do.
gods.
It is. Well, it was because they were
But
based
you know
on
it's
the
tough
actual.
to be a god.
It is. Actually, if you have 5 seconds, like seriously, just go research them. They're hilarious. One was a trickster god, one was a serious god of the Maze twins. I'm trying to say it not in French, which is maïs. I know that's not the right pronunciation. It's where my brain goes. But also, honestly, Mesoamerican mythology is really interesting. It's one of my favorite courses for my mythology classes.
I'm fucking jazzed, man. I can't tell you how long, like middle school Emily spent deep diving into Central American ancient civilizations. I'm pumped.
And how long near present day Emily has watched Ancient Aliens and shit.
Different.
And I
Very
can't say
different.
how hungry
Different.
I am right now because you guys definitely made me want some Mexican food.
All right, getting back to more in character. Hold on a second. Yeah. The pantheon can vary depending on what culture followed. So I am not certain whether or not this is a greater pantheon, which include jaguars and other beasts which have anthropomorphic manifestations and deificood.
I don't see
Or the-
that in their Greyhawk entry.
I'm talking about the actual religion, which is where I'm going with.
Oh, well then I definitely don't know them.
Stop looking on Google. Read a book.
You have ChatGPT tell me everything.
Anyways, like he'll just keep going on. That is the TLDR, but he'll go on specifics of how, depending on the culture, sometimes there are blood sacrifices involved, especially focusing on the hearts, which is why he was concerned when he heard that hearts were being stolen. So that's often a source of power.
Wait, there's a heart stolen? I don't think we've had that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the royalty here for this world had their heart stolen by their kin. It was the son of the person here.
Yeah, it was.
So far,
it
sun
was-
everywhere.
During the bloodline oblation.
Can I get a
Bloodline
can I do a perception
oblation.
check to make sure Darfarius is still okay? I just want to make sure none of his illegitimate children have killed him while he stepped away.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's just off screen.
In the meantime, as you kind of monologue this, Atochsi, you just hear like this grinding of stone against stone as he creates what he can of a grimace across his face, and he just sets this giant jade paw on your shoulder, and he says, "You and I, we are kin. I can tell."
He'll look at the larger stone thing. The mythos of my culture is that we were hewn from the stone and given breath by the gods. I do not know how true that is. But I
It
have
is
seen-
similar to our origin of my people. Quetzalcoatl, who brings the sun, also breathed life into us, who gave us the warrior's heart, and he points out across the miles to Quetzalcoatl, seemingly pinned to the structure. We have not had night since the convergence.
Ooh.
He is no longer able to swallow the sun. Our world is in danger.
The story is very familiar to me now. We will do all that we can.
You're brought to the base of the temple, which is met by seemingly hundreds of stone structures, and there's a bustling marketplace. As you see beings that are doing their best to conduct life, although you feel the tension in the air as they're trying to survive what is an uncertain future. You're brought through the town square and you're met at the very edge by these giant canals. There are trees that seemingly grow up through the waters that start to build these canopies that you had seen. And it's like giant archways as the water stretches forever. But you start to notice that every tree is in perfect alignment, seemingly for miles. Atochli, I will meet you on the other side. Prepare yourself. If you have any questions, ask
Nope.
them now. Because the way through the waters will be long. And he kind of sits down and you just see that he sits this giant jade stone golem kind of crisscross applesauce, but in a more badass way that didn't sound like I was talking like a kindergartner.
He's so big and cool, and he's
Yeah.
cross applesauce.
All right, everyone.
He also has some boots on. He has to
I
tie a little
well,
bunny
so
to a
either
boot.
we call it sitting like an offensive term style,
Cross-legged?
or
You can just say cross-legged.
there you go, cross-legged. So he sits cross-legged. Sorry, I guess I only know the two terms.
Wow.
He sits cross-legged. Hey, like
The
in the meantime, from when I sat,
applesauce is definitely offensive to apples. So
yeah, the last time I did one, it was offensive, and then when my kids were taught it, it was crisscross applesauce. I missed the memo in between. Anyways, he sits cross-legged, and you see him start like his figure starts to kind of like sink a little bit into the ground. Meanwhile, he's sits there, ready to converse with you all.
I have a few questions. Just
Mhm.
one for an observation question. So the people of this plane or wherever we are, what can I tell what their lineage is? Or like, is it just all this like jade statue person, or are they other things? Are they all
No, no,
elementals,
there's
or are they all something else? I'm trying to figure out what was the person that was murdered, what was their lineage. But can I infer that from whom we're seeing?
no. You're confused as hell because you're seeing a pretty um a variety of beings. So
So then I'll ask it if
he
I can
happens
infer.
to be a jade golem.
Gotcha.
With similar etchings and stuff that you see within the temple that you guys walked down. But you saw uh, hundreds of these warriors, brown skinned warriors, who are kind of adorned in vestiges that you assume had rank and file um, of their people. You saw there were feline humanoids that seemed to be, you know, mostly dark colored. You saw some were brown with like spots, like darker brown, darker spots. You saw also bird humanoids that were very brightly colored. Um, and you saw um, no, for now that's it.
Okay. Um, and not to be rude, but what was the lineage of the royalty that died.
That's fucking rude.
When I say lineage, I mean race, but I don't want to say race. I'm trying to use the new term.
He seemed to be like a panther.
What
Okay,
do your
Maybe
we
even
have-
even a jaguar.
Yeah. So he wouldn't be. So in terms
Monster
of
Mud.
those that have died, we've had a half elf of possibly
Half elf.
Drow the king. Wasn't he half elf or was he a full elf?
Full elf.
Okay. He still might have been
Full
a
off because he was the
Sorry, you're
king
right,
of
you're right, you're right.
Mythranor.
Full
So
elf. I said
he
full
would,
ass elf.
his son is a half elf, right? Someone was a half elf in that situation. Anyways,
As you say this, he's sinking further and further into the mud.
might be of Drow heritage, and then the we had a Fey royalty die, and now we've had Jaguar. I'm less and less convinced this is tied to Loth, but I mean it might be.
It's based on lineage, which means there is power in blood and belief. That is where they're seeking the power from.
But she's not.
What
hunting
do your
particularly.
people call themselves so we may address them correctly and not cause offense?
What do your people call you?
Idiots
Goliath.
mostly, but you know.
Asshole.
Hmm.
That's
They
what we
call
call
me
Valen.
Asatoshli.
Valen at the side just shaking his head. Dear Lord, help us.
No,
Me and Emily were on the same page.
I'm unaware of the difference. I am Atatoshli.
Isn't that the David? It's the top one. It's
And that is, if that is what, well, we certainly call you that. In our plane, people have names by their religion, by their location. And again, when we address people, we do not wish to cause offense. And that is what I was concerned about.
And what do I call you?
I am Vamul.
Then I will call you Vamul. You. What do I call you?
I can't tell who you're talking to at this point.
Then you.
Okay. I'm Liam Umbra.
I am Umbra. I am Atutachli. And you?
Papi Chulo.
Papi Chulo. It is good to meet you.
You too.
I am Atutachli.
Touch your what?
And you?
My name will be Valen.
Valen. I am Atutachli. And you?
Astrid.
I'm Astrid. I am Atutachli.
I'm Astrid.
Yes.
I knew this
I'm
was
so
gonna happen.
happy.
No matter
I'm
what.
so happy. I'm glad that happened. Yes.
I'm hungry. I'm dead.
God damn it. Fine.
And you?
I'm
It's bound to happen. Somebody.
We had to have at least one dad joke. Let's just be honest.
That wasn't a dad joke. That was perfect. That's exactly what it is. She
That was the
introduced
God
herself.
doesn't. No, that's a deity doesn't give a shit about lower being's name.
He's not a
joke.
deity.
We're not at Quetzalcoatl yet.
It's probably a guardian of the temple.
You don't hear him hissing. You don't hear him doing that tongue thing.
What?
Nothing.
He's quoting Mulan.
And as he stares at Val, who is yet to
Val.
introduce himself.
Sorry, everybody was being very loud out of game. Val.
I am Atatochi. You see, we are all somebody, and none of us the same.
I
As
like
he
this.
sinks into the
Man, I
mud.
love this guy, man.
Yeah, I love this. I love this section so much.
A
Do I get
handful
the
of the
sense
warriors.
that I could also do that if that's how we were supposed to cross? If he is showing us how to
No,
do so?
no. So
Okay.
a handful of the warriors come up, and they pull with them this canoe that is made of this like brown bark, like almost a tree that had been carved, like a whole piece of tree that had been carved into one canoe.
Is it just our party right now that are with us, like doing this
Yes.
task? Okay. Before
Yeah.
we go anywhere across any water, I would like to take 10 minutes to cast water breathing.
I don't think we have 10 minutes.
He said we have the time before we want to go, so I would like to take 10 minutes and cast water breathing. It lasts 24 hours
Fair enough.
for the whole.
Is that for
group.
everybody?
Yeah, it's for
Oh.
everybody.
All right.
I
So
can sacrifice 10 minutes.
Yeah, you guys.
So
keep
you see
asking questions,
these
but I will start doing this now.
you see this group, and they start preparing, and um they go into the waters, and you see them start to kind of like circle the water, and it disperses like this. There's this kind of like floating green plant life that just sits at the top of it, and they start to kind of clear it out of the way, and from the water start to pull into these giant they're like fish. You guys would find them more familiar as fish, as they kind of emerge, and they start to they start to put these lashes or leashes, I should say, made out of the vines that they kind of pull from the nature. And you start to notice that everything that they're doing, it seems as though they live in which their means. They start to pull all this everything that is around them that they're able to use and bind and convert it to the means that they need. And so they pull this giant canoe into the water, and they attach them to these fish. Um, they're all talking meanwhile, but outside of the Radiant Citadel, it is almost gibberish to you all. Aside from your guide at the Tochli, you are unable to communicate with them at all, except for kind of maybe crude signals and stuff. And they keep trying to usher you into the boat, but Liam is steadfastly waiting his 10 minutes as they're
I mean, you
starting
can
to become a
clearly
little
see
bit.
I'm doing a ritual of some sort. It's not like I'm just standing there doing nothing.
Oh, okay. So I guess
So there's fishing?
in
I have my spell book out. I'm doing a ritual cast from my spell book. So you'll be
Gotcha.
seeing me doing like incantations, but in a long form of incantations. So it would be like that.
As you do that, some people come from the city. They're adorned in headdresses and stuff with brightly colored feathers and gears and stuff, and they settle in the mud around you, and like there's three or four of them whose attentions are drawn specifically at you, and they're not talking amongst themselves, but their attention is drawn towards you completely as you do this your incantation in order to cast this.
I have a short reed that I have with me to finish it, so it does look at the end like I'm burning like some incense. But by the end, when I complete it, like I completed the circle and like denoted everybody, and then everybody will like feel like a spell cast on them all of a sudden, and then for a second you skip a breath, but then you keep breathing normally. You've actually had this cast on you once before, but this is probably the first time we're doing it with like focusing on it. But yeah, so you'll be able to keep breathing normally, and you'll be able to breathe underwater if the
Right.
situation comes up.
As you feel that, you prepare yourselves and you hop into the canoe.
Is Atatoshi coming with us?
He's gone.
Oh,
He said he'll meet you on the other
He's
side.
been leaving this entire time by sinking into the ground because he can travel or like easier than us.
Earthbound, basically.
Did you miss all of that?
I was doing my incantations.
That was the whole conversation about crisscross versus.
I had a ticket for him. Oh fuck.
You guys hop into the canoes and you feel this, and immediately like those fish take off and they pull the canoe, and you guys are sped back, and you start whipping through these trees, and you just hear the rushing in the water, almost as if like it's a raging river behind you.
I throw up again.
But you immediately throw up, and
It's been one of those days.
you also hear the
What'd you eat?
as the trees pass by you. You were sailing through the waters for nearly an hour. When your boat begins to slow and you start to see land up ahead. And you see just this brief glimpse of the jade pyramid ahead of you. Far off in the distance, you see a little glint of it before it's enveloped again by the canopy. And as you start to approach the land, the rushing of the water starts to drown. The whipping of the trees start to drown, and you again start to hear the echoing of the birds and the beasts and the creatures in the canopies, and it just goes silent. And the canoe stops completely. And all of a sudden, you're adrift in this giant lake, ocean, and the canoe rocks. And then it rocks the other way.
I didn't throw up.
And before you know it, something pulls up and it shatters your canoe.
Oh shit.
Oh god.
And it snaps it in half. And you find yourself all sinking into the waters.
Think we can fucking breathe.
Yeah,
And
I would
that's-
say, aren't you glad we took the 10 minutes now?
And that's where we'll stop tonight.
I didn't throw up the
Bravo.
last time. I was able to make it.
Nice.
Thiva, what
like
a
this
setup.
Yeah, I
I
like this
know.
land.
I
I want to own it
this a
somehow.
lot.
I know.
I feel
Pick
like
up some of my old myth books.
Christopher Columbus here.
You're
Don't.
bringing smallpox?
Nope.
You
Oh,
Please
Lord,
no.
why-
Columbus didn't travel
Well,
a lake?
You mean
Why-
dragon
Maybe
pox?
Columbus did bring,
Of all the things you could have said,
Um,
dude. Oh, Lord.
Columbus did bring a very specific set
Well,
of
considering
diseases,
everyone he's
so-
been sleeping with, he probably has something that could kill all the indigenous people here.
Yeah.
I don't think even I can cure that much disease. I'm sorry.
You better try, damn it.
I'm only one cleric.
Viva,
Sleep.
is Quetzalcoatl already in the D&D deity list, or it's you blended into it?
Oh, he's there. Read a book.
He's there.
Oh.
In the back of the GM's book, there is a list of deities that are like our world's deities. That's our pantheons that are sometimes brought into D&D. So like the Egyptian deity or pantheon is often like brought in through some way, but it's not as nearly as fleshed out as like the D&D created ones like Bahamut and so on.
Look, this is all
So-
leading up to the point where I pull us out of the fantasy world. You guys are all working jobs in a city where you guys are all have a
no.
cubicle, and
Whoa.
you guys.
There's not a day working on trying to sell timeshares at Myth.
Yeah, no, you're
Okay.
you're a salesman in this
Like,
world. I
yeah,
am.
thank
I'm. Look, we're gonna get super red pilled. This is gonna just be.
Yep.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah, we're going. I'm getting us there.
Stab someone with a pencil.
With a fucking pencil.
Did you hear?
Emily, I'm sorry, we're playing the D&D game still, so you have to tell me what Astrid would do, not
Talking
what you
about
would.
talking about real world thing. Did you guys?
Don't you
hear
mean
that,
I'm Astrid?
God, which company? What the company's like one of the tech companies calling the employees back to the office, and if they come back to the office and work in the office, they will donate to charity.
It's no, I don't know which company that is, but
Ain't mine.
It's not gonna happen, man. Nobody's gonna go back.
because
Well,
they own
Elon
the
requires everyone to
the
go
real
back to
reason they're
office.
trying to get everybody back in the office. One, well, because a lot of them are controlled by like egomaniacs who are like, I need to be able to step on people's throats, and the other one is because they own so
The
many
building, I know.
commercial buildings, and they're like, we're losing a fortune. Like we own these buildings, and no one is occupying them now. So
Well,
like,
and
what are we
also
gonna
there's
do?
pressure from like the commercial real estate market and bullshit like that. So like, there's all those things. And then Elon's over here saying like, he owns a car
He-
company, so he's obviously incentivized to be like, hey guys, I think everyone should go back to the office because it's better for everybody.
Yeah.
And drive. Because
Dude,
I own a car
I
company.
I don't know about you guys, but well, I don't know about any other company, but for people that works for Tesla, there is so many reasons they shouldn't go back to their office because their office fucking sucks. I've been to their offices so many times. Like their layout, it's one of the most chaotic and what's most crowded. And one of like it doesn't feel like a tech company. It feels like fucking just cramp everything together.
Doesn't matter. Like that's not why. And then again, that's not why he's making these decisions. He's doing it from
Yeah, he's
for-
making it because he's
He's
a
a douchebag.
giant,
Yeah.
colossal piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
All right.
so-
Well,
Aren't we glad we can breathe underwater?
for once, your plan actually worked.
For once, I got one.
For once.
I will
And
give you the
please.
one.
I did think that the Mythjaner plan was a great plan, so I'm glad that you agreed that that's a great
Like
one. I'm glad you're on my
actually,
second
you know what?
adventure, so,
I think I will. No, Alex, what is the reason for you to push the timeshare? I don't.
Because it's hilarious. It is a running gag.
I mean,
It is not hilarious. I don't care
Valen
what you
can
think. It
do
is not.
if Valen can do something through his connection with the trading
Oh dear
guild,
God! Don't encourage.
I
this.
will because whatever
obviously that
I
has
can
to
help,
happen. Yeah.
I can if whatever I can do to help you to shut up about this anymore, whatever I will. Dude, seriously.
If you invest largely in Mythjaner, I promise to shut up about it.
look, man, if you're a shareholder,
No, invest in Triple S.
And Triple
I
S
can
will
simply
be
shut
there
him up.
At Mythjaner. It will be the premier bar and tavern and membership only experience in Mythjaner.
Smashing booties.
Smashing Skull Salon, or also known as Triple S, with the members only smashing booties. Get
Smashing
down on the
booties.
ground floor or lower.
Dude, but that part of the connecting the
I didn't tell anybody, but I took 1 point or 1 level in Bard apparently, so I can just.
I love the part of blending the Mayan gods into this world, into the D&D campaign. I love it.
cool. I'm glad.
Yeah, just watch out if the Aztec gods show up. Then we need to leave.
There is a
Time
I
to
believe
fuck
I
out.
sent the link to you. There is a cartoon there's a cartoon on Netflix that's exactly based on the Aztec mythology. I don't know, Levi, you've already
I
watched
know
it.
what
or-
you're
Oh
talking
no, send it to me.
Carmen San Diego.
Well, there used to
Oh,
be
it
the
just
Temple of
came
the
out,
Sun.
didn't it?
That's
Huh?
the old one from back in the day.
No, it's pretty new. Well, it's recent. It's relatively new, but it's really violent. Dude, like,
Well, send it to me because I don't know if you guys watched John Leguizamo's special, but like, you guys should check it out.
I got something.
Because he kind of talks about how like our history was completely obliterated. Like there was such like he didn't know his history and then he kind of goes into just like how much of it was lost, and so like me personally, it's just like it's
Isn't he
really
Puerto Rican?
depressing.
Thanks everybody for watching the stream. We're back.
What?
Yay!